Hello there, welcome to the channel. This is Nerd.World, and today I'm looking at a vessel that I was kind of inspired to look at when I watched a fan film very recently called Trek Squadron, which is excellent, and I'm actually going to link it down below if you've not seen it. It's by a group of people from Russia, so don't let that put you off. It is subtitled, but it is excellently made and is really good, and the hero ships in Star Trek Squadron are the Norway Class Starship, and I think they're brilliant, and I never used to really like them, but as soon as I saw them in this I thought, you know, those ships, they look a little stupid to me, but I think they're actually pretty good. But before I begin, which is a nice segue from the Norway Class, I have a sponsor, and just a small plug of that sponsor. I have gone into partnership with Relentless Rebels. They sell all kinds of Viking jewelry, which you may have noticed I have kind of a thing for Viking and Celtic wares, as you may have noticed. And if you visit their website by clicking on the link below and use the promo code NERD20, you will get a 20% discount on any purchase that you make off their website. And that's the end of that. I'm not going to go on about it too much, but if you visit them, it helps out the channel, and that would be appreciated. In the meantime, please like, share, subscribe, and comment down below while we get started on the lore of the Norway Class cruiser. And tell me what you think about this vessel in the comments below. Did you notice its first appearance in Star Trek First Contact? Are you aware of the vessel? Which I'm sure you are, as you're watching a video about Star Trek. The Norway Class light cruiser was part of a new fleet of vessels developed by Starfleet for the defense of the United Federation of Planets. This came about, similar to the Defiant class, after the utter disaster of the Battle of Wolf 359, where Starfleet lost 39 ships and the Borg didn't even seem to get phased and just kept going. The Norway Class, along with its cousin ships, the Saber class, the Defiant class, and even later vessels like the Sovereign class, and particularly the Akira, were all designed to work as a sort of battle core to Starfleet. Yes, these vessels could do other jobs, but they were also somewhat more specialized in combat. In some cases, the Defiant class heavily focused in it. The Sovereign class, for example, was classified as a battle cruiser. This ship was a type of, in modern naval terms, it would probably fit into the role of something like a frigate or maybe a corvette. If you actually look at the way the ships are designed, you've got the Akira class, which is basically it's a torpedo boat. Basically, it's mostly a torpedo carrier. The Saber class is much more focused on phasers, whereas the Norway class seems to be a bit more of a generalist. It's small, it's maneuverable. Its profile is not unlike that of a Defiant class if you look at it head on. It's only got a larger profile from the top and bottom, and even that, because of its unusual shapes and forms to the vessel, is a little bit off kilter. It's still a little hard to lock onto. Now, the vessel's armament can vary depending on year of manufacturer. It will be armed with anywhere between 6 and 9 phaser arrays. It has 2 forward and 2 aft torpedo launchers. As far as I can tell, that is a standard. The vessel, of course, also has shields and reinforced hull armor, and is extremely maneuverable and very fast, with a maximum warp of 9.7 according to some sources, although I do think that might be beta canon. The vessel, of course, was present at the Battle of Sector 001. They entered into service around that time. There were at least 4 of them present at the Battle of Sector 001, if you count them. These vessels entered service probably around 2371, 2372, and they were still in service for many, many years, not being replaced until the late 2380s, early 2390s, with the Oslo class, which is their inheritor, taking design elements from a few of the different ships. The Norway class itself, though, was, as I said, classified as a light cruiser, meaning it was predominantly built for combat, part of this broader fleet, which, as I said, each vessel seemed to have a certain degree of specialization. When you put them into a larger fleet, you would have at the core Sovereign class, the big heavily armed cruiser with photon quantum torpedoes, multiple phaser arrays, very maneuverable, and then you'd have your torpedo ships in the forms of the Akira class, you'd have your Defiant class attack ships, and you'd have vessels like this there to screen the enemy. The Saber class, the Norway class, and the Steamrunner class for that matter, there to screen smaller ships and other cruisers away from your big guns, while your Sovereign class obliterates the main body of your enemy fleet. These ships will distract the enemy and absorb some of the damage, meaning the bigger ships keep on ticking, and before the enemy can really reach your heavy guns, they in theory have been destroyed, either by successive attack of these smaller vessels or by the attacks being done by your Sovereign class or even your Galaxy class starships that are just there as your big heavy hitters. These vessels also of course carried shuttles, but they could carry larger craft such as Danube class vessels. They would also carry usual sort of assortments of smaller craft, scout ships, shuttle pods, work bees, other such vessels, potentially even fighters in their bays, although that was less likely as they would have took up a lot more room and been higher maintenance, but it was theoretically possible. The shuttle bays were large enough. Now these starships were initially built at Earth, not at the Utopia Planitia shipyards, although production would eventually move there. They had a standard 190 personnel on board, but could carry up to 500 personnel if needed. They were 364 meters in length with a beam of 225 and a height of 52 meters, displacing a mass of 622,000 metric tons. Now of course these vessels came in just in time. After the Battle of Wolf 359, the Federation kind of went into overdrive trying to develop defences against the Borg. Now all this calmed down a little bit. The resurgence of the Dominion put Starfleet back in the mindset of thinking we need to think more defensively and produce some new combat vessels. So as a result, these ships would not only, as I said, be a presence at the Battle of Sector 001, facing off against the Borg Cube, but also they would feature heavily in the Dominion War and in subsequent minor conflicts across the Federation, proving themselves as a combat vessel, a worthy member of Starfleet, and an adequate, more than adequate, patrol vessel for the Federation's borders against its more traditional enemies like the Klingons, the Orions, the Romulans, maybe not the Cardassians anymore. Beautiful ship. I've developed an appreciation for it. I remember when I first saw it, I kind of thought it was pretty ugly and kind of stupid looking. I didn't like it. It looks like a shovel, which it kind of does. It looks like, you know, when you get one of those shovels. I go camping and I have a camping shovel and it unfolds and you can turn it into a spear for fishing. Not that I would do that. I'd use a fishing rod or, you know, go to a shop, but whatever. Unfolds like that. You can dig things with it. Use it as an axe. Great. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like that shovel when it's all folded down. And I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you like the Norway class? To be honest, I think it's prettier than the Steamrunner class. It's a fairly ugly ship. But again, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. And please don't forget to check out my fantastic sponsor, Relentless Rebels, who I have purchased things from myself, and please check them out. As I said, I do kind of like my Viking style jewelry. That said, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below, and bye bye.